Hey everyone, what is up? It's your girl Jasminder, aka Posh and Political, and welcome back to the Canadian federal election series. All right, so let's jump right into it. Today's video is on the Liberal Party of Canada. The Liberal Party of Canada is the current ruling party. So that basically means that they have the highest number of seats in the House of Commons. And the person who is leading the Liberal Party goes by the name of Justin Trudeau. I'm sure you've probably heard of the name before. So in terms of childcare, the Liberals have promised to increase the Canada Child Benefit Plan by 15% for kids under the age of 1. They've also pledged to make 250,000 new childcare spaces across Canada and to decrease the amount of money for this by about 10%. And they also want to provide guaranteed income to parents that don't qualify for paid leave. In terms of healthcare, the Liberals have promised to increase the amount of money that they're giving to the provinces for healthcare by 3%. They want to use this money in order to help with mental health, addictions, as well as home care programs. They're planning on increasing access to medically assisted deaths, as well as doubling the Canada Child Disability Benefit. They've also promised to take critical next steps towards a national pharmacare plan. However, they haven't released many details on what that would look like. In terms of education, the Liberals have made a lot of promises around post-secondary education. Basically, they have promised that loans will be interest-free for the first 2 years after you graduate, and that students won't have to pay back loans until they're making at least $35,000 a year. They're also saying that parents with children under the age of 5 would be able to pause their loans until their youngest child is over the age of 5. The Liberals have also promised to boost the maximum Canada student grant from $3,000 to $4,200 for full-time students. In terms of promises that are made focused to seniors, one of the things would be looking into revising the criminal code in order to add new sections on elder abuse, as well as raising education and awareness on what elder abuse is and its prevalence. The Liberals have also promised to increase the Canada Pension Plan by 20 to 25% for seniors that have been widowed. In addition, they are promising to increase old age security at the age of 75 by 10%. In terms of housing, the Liberals have promised to create over 100,000 affordable housing units over the next 10 years. For first-time home buyers, they're offering a 10% subsidy on new homes and a 5% subsidy on resale homes. They're also loosening restrictions on expensive markets and putting a surtax on foreign home buyers that are not present within the country. In terms of housing and energy efficiency, as well as the weather, they are offering $40,000 per home in terms of interest-free loans for making homes more weather resilient and wanting to retrofit 1.5 million homes for energy efficiency. In terms of transportation, the Liberals have promised $3 billion per year towards public transit. They also said that they want all new vehicles to be zero emission by the year 2040. And the party has also proposed a national infrastructure fund in order to help support major projects. Next, we come to climate change, which is one of the topics that I feel is the most near and dear to my heart. So the Liberals have pledged to net zero emissions by the year 2050. And they've also said that they want to phase out coal power by the year 2030, which would help to exceed the Paris Agreement's net zero emission targets. They're also planning on creating an agency for clean water and want to protect a quarter of Canada's wildlife by the year 2025 on both natural land as well as ocean habitats. The party also wants to ban some single-use plastics and plant over 2 billion trees in the next 10 years. In addition, they also want to end fossil fuel subsidies. The Liberals are the ones that have set a carbon tax, which is basically putting a price on pollution, and the minimum price is $20 per ton in the year of 2019, and they're pledging to increase that by $10 every year, so that way it's $50 per ton by the year 2022. In terms of climate change and pipelines, basically the Liberals have chosen to support some pipelines and not others. They support Line 3, Keystone XL, the LNG project, as well as the Trans Mountain Pipeline extension, which they bought for $4.5 billion. They have, however, canceled the Northern Gateway pipeline, as well as changed the rules for the Eastern Energy Pipeline, which basically led to it being abandoned. Despite facing criticism for their policies, the Liberals have continued to stress their commitment towards reconciliation. They have promised to fully implement the UN Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples and the Indigenous Languages Act. They've also made a commitment to give at least 5% of contract to Indigenous-owned businesses as well. They're also seeking judicial review of compensation for First Nation child welfare. So they already introduced Bill C-71, which expands firearms background checks. And during this campaign, they have promised to roll out more restrictions, including banning semi-automatic assault-type weapons and buying back any that were legally purchased. They also want to give more freedom to cities in order to restrict or to ban handguns within their cities. So as some of you may know, the Liberal government was able to strike up a NAFTA deal, which is something that they are quite proud of. They did lose some of the concessions that were there before. However, they have stated that they are not open to reopening the NAFTA deal because they're afraid of losing some parts of the deal that they were able to keep in the agreement. Under the Liberal government, over the last 4 years, immigration has increased. So the largest number of immigrants have come into Canada after World War I, which is over 300,000 immigrants in the year of 2018. The Liberal Party is hoping to bump these numbers up to 350,000 by the year 2021. The Liberal immigration minister has mentioned in the past that he does want to increase the amount of refugees that we are accepting. In addition, the Liberals have promised to regulate immigration consulting as well. All right, now let's go back to talking money, honey. So the Liberals have promised to raise the basic income tax deduction to $15,000 for individuals that are making less than $147,000. And because they have been the government over the last 4 years, in 2015, they added an upper tax bracket for people making over $200,000 a year. And they dropped the tax rate on those earning between approximately $45,000 up to approximately $90,000. They also plan on taxing those who are making revenue based off of luxury vehicles as well as tech giants. So during the 2015 election, the Liberals had promised to balance the books by the year 2019. This has not happened. The Liberals' election platform says that it will be spending $9.3 million in new spending between the years 2020 to 2021. Given the current trends that we have seen, the Finance Department does not predict there to be a return to balanced budgets until about the year 2040. All right, so there you go. There was your quick summary of the Liberals' election platform. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Today, I also have a special guest in the back, as you can see. We just wanted to tell all of you guys to go out and vote. The elections, once again, are Monday, October 21st. For information on how to vote and to figure out what your riding is, I have provided a link in the description box down below. Thanks again for joining me today, and I will be seeing you tomorrow when I will be discussing the Conservative Party's platform. In the meantime, stay posh and definitely stay political.